Okay, going back in time, San Francisco was once the home to a number of recording studios that produced some world-famous hits.
One of those studios was the Automat, and a young singer who would go on to produce some of Nashville's top artists. NBC Bay Area's Rosato Jr. has the story of some of his lost recordings and how they're now coming to light.
If you could roll back the tape machine to the late 70s, you'd find San Francisco at the center of a musical boom.
The new wave punk movement in San Francisco and Sacramento was full blown.
Back in those days, a young Sacramento singer by the name of Charlie Peacock was schlepping gear to clubs around the Bay Area.
So we would go down to San Francisco, play the Stone, we would play Les Disques, Palms, of course, Mabuhay Gardens.
For any young artist trying to make it in the music biz, the next step up the ladder was scoring a record deal. At what's now an apartment building at 827 Folsom Street was once the mecca of San Francisco recording studios, a place called the Automat.
At that time, the Automat on Folsom Street was just an iconic studio in pop music history.
Owned by producer David Rubinson, it recorded bands like Santana, Journey, Sister Sledge. Francis Ford Coppola leased space there for his film studio, and legendary promoter Bill Graham was right around the corner.
You just never knew what you were going to see and experience as a young 23-year-old just getting into business.
Peacock got the chance to record in the Automat in the early 80s, at a time when drum machines and digital recording were changing the way music was made.
This was the advent of technology that would literally change pop music.
Peacock recorded 6 tracks with producer David Kahn, who would go on to produce bands like the Bangles, Paul McCartney, and the Strokes.
David Kahn was such a great producer and right on the cusp of, all of these things that he was going to do.
After making those recordings, Peacock himself would go on to a successful career as a Christian artist and a producer. Moving to Nashville, he co-wrote Amy Grant's hit song, Every Heartbeat, and won a Grammy producing the group Civil Wars.
I've recorded Merle Haggard, I've recorded Chris Cornell, Jackson Browne.
But in the back of his head, the musician wondered whatever happened to those songs he once recorded at the Automat.
At one point, I thought in my mind, those are definitely lost to time.
After diving into hard drives and storage boxes, those lost sessions came to light.
And I started finding, some analog tape, finding cassettes.
Soon, Peacock's musical past filled his ears and memory.
When I go back and listen to these, I'm impressed with a lot of it. Some of it I want to change, some I'm embarrassed by.
Now, more than 4 decades after making those recordings, Peacock is letting the public in on his past.
I decided, I'd be willing to let people hear them.
He recently released those recordings called the Con Sessions, because it isn't every day you can go back and hear the person you were and maybe find the notes of the person you'd become. Rosato Jr., NBC Bay Area News.